Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today I will be doing something new, and if you want to see more content like this, make sure you don't forget to like and subscribe. Doing so, let me know you all enjoy this kind of stuff. So what we'll be going into today is actually the history of sports cards and their evolution into the Ultimate Team equivalent in video games. We're going to take a dive into how companies like EA and 2K use the nostalgia of sports cards to help us gamble with their packs in video games. I want you to comment right now what your favorite sports card you ever had was in real life or video games. I'll tell you that mine was the pink diamond Derrick Rose in NBA 2K18. I was the only one of my friends to pull it from the locker code, and it was really cool. And my favorite card in real life would be the 1996 Pro Line Marion Butts card, because I was 10-ish when I got it at a rummage sale, and I really like the artwork. That's why. Yeah, artwork. Yeah. Okay, now on to the video. Baseball cards started as a promotional item found in cigarette packs around the 1860s as a way to advertise both industries. Before this, there were promotional images of teams as commemorative items, and some people considered these cards, but they weren't really mass-produced and often just local teams or mementos of family members. The hype of sports in the mid to late 1800s and early 1900s really propelled these to popularity, expanding to football cards by the 1920s and other sports following that. Since these cards were often cheap in promotions to buy other items, they were not recognized as big collector items. Self-proclaimed baseball nerd Keith Olbermann had this to say about them. They were means of advertising, they were stiffeners in the pack of cigarettes, they were sold with slabs of taffy, they were found in the boxes of cornflakes, they doubled as tickets, and more about how they were just not ideal for collecting at the start. This obviously makes some of the early cards more valuable, as we could see through cards like the 1909 Honus Wagner card going for $6.6 million, or the 1952 Mickey Mantle rookie card going for $12.6 million. The collector boom for sports cards started in the 1980s, where their production increased heavily and a lot of people joined the hobby. From this point forward, most cards would get mass-produced, and collecting sets became easier, and old cards began to rise in price. To combat this, card producers like Topps started releasing limited print cards, which gave some cards a number system to show how rare your card was compared to other people's. Sports were becoming a huge part of the American culture, as they'd always been vital to our entertainment, but people started using these and other memorabilia to show off how big of a fan they were, whether it be of a sport, a team, or even a specific player. They did this in the most classic American way, of course, by needing the most expensive and rarest things they can to get their clout, because, of course, who doesn't like the attention? Side note, I dragged this idea, but if someone has a signed Heinz Ward rookie card, I'd pay $150 and a kiss on the cheek, okay? The mass growth in collecting cards near this time did not stop at sports, as in the 90s we saw a huge emergence of different trading card games, such as Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh!, and of course, the greatest franchise of all time, Digimon. Okay, and Pokemon, but all these made a huge comeback during the pandemic. We saw huge content creators such as Ludwig and Logan Paul hosting livestream events opening packs with millions of viewers and hundreds of thousands of dollars made for charity. Many of these 90s card games are still putting out anime episodes and video games that sell well, right along with their cards. I can tell you recently I just had a blast finishing Pokemon Scarlet, and tons of my friends that you wouldn't think play those kind of games were right there with me. A lot of people who collect cards today grew up in an era where collecting cards and playing video games are nostalgic to us, and some may even partake in something like a Friday Night Magic at their local card shop or grab a pack of basketball cards before checking out at the local supermarket. But why are we so intrigued by buying a pack of cards that we know there's a solid chance we do not get our money back in? Obviously, as humans, we all understand it's just gambling. But in some ways, it is better, or worse depending on how you look at it, because there's always a prize, even if you don't care for it. Ending up with a physical prize feels rewarding in itself, and pulling a card for your friend's favorite team may even lead you to trade cards with them, or if you're lucky, a valuable card may lead to that good old-fashioned moolah bebe. And I mean, that's the dream, right? Who wouldn't want to open up a $5 pack of cardboard and sell it for $1,000? The problem with this is also obvious, as it's impossible for everyone to strike gold with their packs. The people who spend big bucks collecting and selling a massive bunch of cards, they can spend tons of money and not pull anything, and little Johnny over here could buy one and end up spilling pizza sauce on it because he couldn't wait to get home, so you get the point. Now it's time to talk video games. EA Sports made UEFA Champions League 2006-2007, which had a mode where users could buy packs and get players from any team and make their own, competing against real teams to see if they could win. As many of you know, this is the basis of all Ultimate Team modes today, and this was the pioneer game for it. It would not return until FIFA 09, where it was downloadable extra content outside of the base game. Yeah, I guess it was either technology errors or EA did not realize the cash cow they had built. We first saw Madden Ultimate Team in Madden 11, and then the next year we saw EA add it to NHL 12. Outside of EA, this year we saw Diamond Dynasty enter Sony's MLB The Show 12. I actually found an article promoting the game, and they were already talking about how Diamond Dynasty is different than EA modes, with this being harder to be pay to win, a practice we know most Ultimate Team modes are notorious for nowadays. After this, the final sport added when 2K Sports introduced My Team, their own rendition of the game mode in NBA 2K13, 3 years before the tragic death of Vic Van Vlier. May he rest in peace. EA Sports UFC 3 even tried an Ultimate Team mode, somehow integrating a card-pulling system in a team game where you fight as a single person. Good thing that's gone in UFC 4. All these games usually focus their attention on this game mode, bringing great criticism to the companies. The communities generally hate the cheesy kind of gameplay it takes to win, the repetitive actions, and the other game modes not getting love, which is a personal vendetta for me, as I love playing Connection franchises on Madden with my friends, but the whole thing is riddled with bugs that would clean up in a week if it happened to a mug game mode. Earlier renditions of these games also had contracts, further making you spend your resources, whether in life or in-game, on being able to use the player that you bought. Getting back to the main topic, you don't quote-unquote buy players, you buy packs to try to get the certain players, often with bad odds, and probably get a bunch of cards you won't use. You quick sell them, you play a little more, you open another pack. Repeat. This process has you doing two things: playing the game or spending money, just so you can buy more packs. Either way, this is a win for EA or 2K, or any company that uses a loot box system in their games. Loot boxes could make up a whole video by itself. All the legislation put in place to prevent systems like this is simply promoting gambling to minors. Now games must reveal the pack odds, even if they cleverly hide them in places that you would not usually look. So after that explanation, which was probably some filler to the real gamers out there, any gamers in the chat, woo woo, we can look at why companies use cards. Looking back at the OG UEFA game, there were 3 packs to buy with credits from playing. Going on a game today, you will see limited time, holographic, out of position, hard to unlock, set-only cards. The game's figured out that just like in real life, you want cool-looking cards too. This adds to your nostalgia with collecting cards, even having cards come out of the packs on the interface. Our innate drive to want things that other people don't have motivates us, so you can join a game and the other player goes, "Holy guacamole, I want that too." Competing with your friends to see who has the cooler cards is also a big deal, especially in the rise of co-op game modes for Ultimate Teams. Throwing in another personal example is when my friend pulled a Diamond Yao Ming on NBA 2K23. I went and bought 2 packs myself just because he's my favorite all time, and quite frankly, I was jealous. Mac, I'm not going to forgive you for selling the GOAT. These factors get you to do exactly what they want, which is to spend money. The marketing for the packs is good too, often including a super expensive bundle with a guaranteed good card or a bunch of mid-tier cards that will beef up your team. The biggest advantage games have over physical cards is that you can actually play with them. While pulling some guy you may have never heard of from a real-life pack does not really affect you, you may be surprised if you pull an OK card with a high speed stat or even a high fighting ability in Shell. This can have the effect of making an unknown player a fan favorite, like the case for me with Kevin Herder in 2K19. My friends and I did not know much about him before his Generation Next card was released, but man did we know he had a nice 3-pointer after. Even today, he's not a huge superstar name, but I still have a positive look on him and will keep an eye out for when he does something in the news. This effect is absent in physical cards because we already know that the good players' cards are the ones that sell for the most money, so the best you'd gain more liking towards someone already at a superstar status. Ultimate Team modes are mainly a way for big companies to keep leeching off us, and their use of gambling combined with our want for cool things helps keep this cycle afloat. YouTubers and streamers gain massive amount of views opening packs and playing these games just because we like watching the gambling aspect and seeing what others can get without spending our own money. MMG, a popular MUT and football content creator, released a video titled, "I opened $1,000 in packs in Madden," and 3 months later is sitting at over 500,000 views. We even fund them through donations and views to keep going back and doing the same kind of video again. It's not to drag them, as I can say I like Papa Meeks very much, but when we watch all these pack openings, it's just EA getting free advertisement for their game and 1,000 of his dollary dues. To finish on a positive note, we can take a moment to realize how games today help us remember the past. We can hop on MLB and have Randy Johnson pitch to Babe Ruth. We can have prime Wayne Gretzky do a penalty shot on any goalie today, a one-on-one between LeBron and Jordan. While none of these things happen in real life, we can simulate just how it might have happened. More importantly, it helps a younger generation realize the legends of the past, learning a legacy they might not have known, or seeing exactly how someone dominated the game through their style of play. This turns the game into a hidden history lesson for the youth, and they don't even know it. I came across an article in my research for this video describing how using these possibilities instead of old facts and statistics make learning about a person more interactive and fun, ultimate meaning it's a way of making sports history fun. Next time you pull a random old card from a pack, take a look at their Wikipedia and see if they did something cool. You'll never know it until you check it out. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm glad I could finish that on a positive note. I really hope you enjoyed what you heard here today, and if you did, please don't be scared to subscribe, like the video. A big thank you to the multiple blogs and websites I used for this information. I'll leave links in the description. Check them out for some more knowledge. Hope you learned something fun. See you next time. Junk out.